Hello everyone and welcome to Low Budget Otaku. Today I have the last of my 3 Figma reviews from March, the ones that I received from Hobby Search. And this is Figma Reaper. Now I think the Overwatch figures are really good looking, even though they're a bit overpriced. And Reaper one was one that I really wanted to get, so let's take a look at what we got. But first, let's start an intro. So let's take a look at our figure. I already removed the plastic part. Now, his articulation overall seems that it's going to be a bit limited, but I gotta say the figure itself looks striking. I don't like some changes that Figma did in relation to their normal sculpt, and it looks so much bulkier than the normal Figma figure. That can be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's definitely very accurate to the game. I missed playing Overwatch, by the way. But it is very striking, and overall I think the paint job is really well done. I like that it has a lot of battle damage all over the sculpt, giving it a very cool look. It is a very gorgeous figure. Now, and he stands very well on his own because he actually has big feet.
Hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to...
Maybe not as well as I look. Yeah, he stands very well on his own, but that doesn't mean we don't get a great Figma stand that has the Overwatch logo. It's not really the Overwatch logo, it's the Blizzard logo, and I don't know why. It's actually backwards. But yeah, it's the classic Figma stand. The thing I don't understand is why they give us an extension. You actually get an extension that you can put, probably to help in some poses, but I was not expecting an extension because normally when you get an extension it is for some reason. Now we do get an instruction booklet, but even though the figure doesn't look like there's much things to change, but yeah, apparently there is a reason for the extension. It explains right here. Apparently it's to help with some poses. Now this guy doesn't bring a lot of accessories. We got our very beautiful guns, really gorgeous. Okay, so very detailed, great paint job, no complaints here. We get 2 effect parts for the guns, so to make it look like he's shooting these both guns. There you go, very beautiful, and you get 2 of them. So then you get this little part that I haven't taken off yet, but it is to emulate him teleporting, just to put below the figure. And probably that's why you have the extension, so that the stand doesn't sit below him, and you can put these below him, and then you can extend with this stand, so helping to hold him off, even though I think he holds really well on his own. Then we got just hands. So that's the extent of the accessories. With that, got 2 fist hands with a hole. So not that useful, especially because it doesn't have anything to hold with this. But the hands are all really cool, and all of the left hands have spikes, so they are different like that from this other hand. But the hands are really well painted and they look amazing. Then we have these, I don't know, claw hands. Yeah, there you go, great looking hands. We have 2 trigger hands for the guns, and a thumbs up hand for can actually be a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a slice of the throat hand, and I believe that's more the reason why it exists. Now, putting these guys to the hands, will it sit well? Let's try to see. So putting the gun here looks a little bit more troublesome than I was expecting, but yeah, it fits really well, and so no problems there. And then finally we can put the effect part in. Now, I'm a bit afraid of this type of packs from Figma lately, because I already saw one figure broke the pack, right? So I'm not going to fully put them in. If I put them in, I'm just going to leave them a little slightly probably out so that the pack doesn't break. Overall, I think the accessories, even though they are very little, they do look very good, and I think this little part here should also can be removed so you can adjust the head, because with that in you will not be able to adjust the head, but you can adjust the head without this part in, and just pegs easily in and out, I guess. So I just noticed something on this figure, and that is that one of the poses that you're supposed to be able to recreate, you can actually do it, and it is this pose. And why? Because the arms are not strong enough. Now, if I don't have those shooting effects, yeah, I can pose the shoulder close enough to the pose. So, okay, let me adjust. So okay, we got the pose. But now if we had the gun effect, it just becomes too heavy for the arm to hold on. And the problem is basically because this opening here is just not very good for the joint. See? Yeah. It's very hard for him to hold, and it's the same thing for both arms. So this effect part really makes the arm too heavy and makes it difficult to pose with the effect itself. And that's a pity. So, but again, showing you that it's not just KOs that sometimes get this type of problems. Now, I tried many ways to try to adjust, but it always falls down. This is the closest I can get to recreating that pose. And did I just say pose?
And now comes the interesting part. Let your fingers get in there and have a good old rub-a-dub.
So, let's start by the head. So, as said before, this will limit the possibility, so let's take it off. And I believe we only have a ball joint to the head. Gives you good range of motion, but it's not, I believe, as high as some of the other joints. Actually, I'm not really sure if there is a ball joint or just a ball hinge, because it's actually behaving more like a ball hinge. I'm not going to pop it off, but I believe it's actually a ball hinge, not a ball joint. Then I believe we also have a ball hinge for the neck, but very limited action there. Then for the shoulders we have a ball joint to ball hinge to ball joint system. I don't know if you can actually see down there. So ball joint, ball hinge, ball joint. And this allows you to, and this basically is adjustable. Here's just a floating piece. And again, it is good articulation, except for that pose that I already explained to you, where this joint is just not strong enough to hold the guns with the shooting effect. Then we have a different system in the elbow. It's actually a ball hinge to, I believe, a ball joint, so it gives you more range of motion than normal Figma arms. A good detail there, actually. And then I believe we have just a ball hinge in the hand. Now here I'm not sure, but I believe it is just a ball joint. Allows you to rotate, crunch, hinge back, but not that much articulation. And it's a little bit more loose than I'm used to from Figma. All these both parts are in the Figma classic hinges, and just need to adjust them to get some good possibility on the cape. And then we go here, and there's not that big of a spread, but I believe it is just the ball joint to ball joint and ball joint in the legs, just limited by this belt. And the crush piece itself doesn't kick forward too much, doesn't kick back too much. Can kind of swivel there. Then we have a hinge on the knee. This is just hinge 2. And then we got another hinge in the foot, but it does allow you to pivot on an angle, and you get a very small toe bend because of this quad here. So the articulation is actually kind of limited in this figure. It gives you what you need mostly, but it's definitely not the most posable Figma. Finally, let's look at his size.
Oh yes.
Figma Saber of Red from Freight Apocrypha. Figma Kazumi from Dead or Alive 5 Last Round. Figma Ram from ReZero. And finally, Figma Tracer from Overwatch. So in the end of the day, this is a very good looking figure, very accurate to the game. The articulation is a little bit limited, doesn't bring too many accessories, but the accessories that it brings are really cool. And the only big problem that I have with the figure itself is that shoulder articulation that doesn't really hold up really well the pose with the gun and the effect part. Considering the price range of this figure, I would only give it my seal of approval for those who are really big fans of Overwatch and really want to collect them all. Otherwise, this is a very expensive figure for what it actually delivers. But hey, that's my opinion. I hope the video was informative and would help you make your decisions. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, hit a little bell icon to always know when the next video is up. Help me reach 1000 subscribers! And of course, if you want to watch more content, there's links in the description below to all my playlists, and of course in the end of the video there will be suggested videos that you can click and continue watching.
See you next time.